Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a brand new video. It is currently Thursday and today I am taking Avery to have her EEG. It's a 24-hour EEG, an overnight one. I wish I could say I'm not expecting it to show anything, but I said that about the last EEG she had, the 30-minute one, and that did actually show epileptic activity. So I'm gonna say I am very curious to know what this one says. Avery is not 100% at the moment. Josh and I are a little bit stumped on what's going on. She has just now started to recover from the chest infection that she got with COVID. The coughing has pretty much just about settled, but the last couple of days her reflux has been quite bad. She's been a little bit more sleepy looking, so don't know what's going on there. We've been continuing with her nebulizer and chest physio, just trying to keep everything clear. I have also restarted Avery's Keppra-wean again today. If you remember, we started her Keppra-wean months ago, before October, before she got sick the second to last time, and we ended up having to halt at the first step in that wean just because she kept getting poorly. Since she is not actually unwell at the moment, we thought now would be a good time to do it again before she gets poorly again. So she's now down to 1 ml, which I think is 100 milligrams of Keppra, morning and night. If she stays well for the next week, the next step will be to cut out one of the doses, whether that be morning or night, and then the following week after that would be to completely get rid of it. So really now is probably a good time for an EEG, just to see what's going on in her little mind. Not that the Keppra-wean would have made any difference whatsoever at the moment. It's literally been one dose so far. Anyway, so this video is going to be quite a short and sweet one, I think, because I would like to just focus it solely around Avery's EEG. I thought maybe this would be helpful for any parents who are about to take their child for their first EEG. I can show you what it looks like and kind of what the process, talk about what the process entails. Avery has had plenty of EEGs before. She's had an overnight EEG before. I think she's even had a 48-hour EEG before at one point. So I know that they will be attaching probes to her head. Those little probes will be attached to wires. They usually put like a mesh hat over her head to try and keep the probes in place, and then those wires connect to a little a tiny machine, and if it's the same as last time, there will be a button for me to press every time I see something suspicious movement that could potentially be epileptic. It's really difficult at this stage to be able to do that, because with Avery's dystonia the movements can look very, very similar. But even when we didn't see any kind of clinical seizure activity in her last EEG, the report showed that there was still epileptic activity going on. So yeah, really intrigued to see what this one says. The last time Avery had an overnight EEG where they needed to use the glue on the probes, her hair was a lot shorter. As you can see, it is really quite long now, so I'm a little bit anxious about what it's going to do to her hair. I have kept her hair down. I've actually been really mindful about everything she's wearing today. I've made sure that everything she's wearing I can take off from the bottom. So this dress has buttons, so I can undo the buttons and kind of pull it down, because she's going to have the cap on. And it will be much easier doing it that way than it would trying to bring things over her head and then get them past all the wires in the machine. So I know there's going to be a lot of glue in her hair. Last time it took me a very long time, weeks, to get all of the glue out of her hair. I imagine this time is going to be no different, if not harder. And I have said that once I've gotten all the glue out of her hair, then would be a really good time to give Avery her very first haircut, her first trim. Because she already has a bit of unevenness in the back anyway, just from how her hair's grown in, and with the glue sometimes some of the hair gets pulled out with it, so she might have a few scraggly ends that need neatening up, mightn't you? Yeah. The appointment was supposed to be at 2 o'clock today. I had a phone call earlier to say that they'd had an emergency that they needed to see to this afternoon, so they brought her appointment forward by half an hour. So her appointment's at 1:30, which is fine with me because it gives me more time to get back for the school run. We are going to walk. I contemplated driving, just with the amount of time that we had to get back, but now that we've got that extra half an hour, okay, we are going to walk. So I'm going to try and make this as smooth as possible for myself and as stressless as possible for Avery. We're not going to do any splints or shoes or glasses or even coats for that matter. By the way, it's really difficult to get coats on Avery just because of her tone. I am going to put her in the pushchair exactly how she is and then bung her up with a load of blankets to keep her warm. And that way when she's got the machine on and everything on the way home, hopefully she will be as comfortable as she possibly can be. Other than that, really, it should be pretty straightforward. She will wear the machine overnight and tomorrow, and then around the same time tomorrow I'll take her back to the hospital when they take the probes off. Now this bit I'm a little bit anxious about because last time the nurse hurt her when she was taking the things off. I'm hoping she will use a little bit more solution this time, given the fact that she will be using glue this time. I mean, I'm assuming she will be using glue. That's what they did last time. She had to wear the monitor overnight. So yeah, that is the plan for today. Obviously within this video I won't be able to share any results. We won't get those for a couple of weeks, but I can share sort of what it looks like, the machine and whatnot, how she's doing with them, and then what her poor little head looks like afterwards. Hey, Pud. Right, okay, so her feed has just finished. I'm gonna give her her meds and her flush, and then we will be getting ready to go, won't we? Yeah. Good morning, guys. It is the next day. As you can see, Avery has all of her EEG equipment going. You would have seen me this morning doing a nebulizer and a bit of chest physio, and that is because Avery's sick again. I kid you not, she is sick again. I swear, she did not even fully recover from the last chest infection, and she's all snotty, she's bunged up, and I just don't know what's going on. Her temperature so far has been okay. I gave her some ibuprofen this morning. I also gave her the 7% saline on the nebulizer. I did manage to bring up a fair bit of snot. Sorry, TMI. A fair bit of snot with the suction machine. Avery coughed up some mucus, so that was good. But you can just hear that she's struggling a little bit trying to breathe through her nose. I hope it stays as just a cold. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that it does and we don't end up back in hospital. Anyway, she's been tolerating the EEG quite well. I will say that her hair got stuck to some of the tapes, which she did not enjoy having pulled, because the technician taped a bit of tape to sort of her upper back here and kind of put all the wires there just so that if the bag moved or if the bag got pulled, it would pull at the tape on her shoulder and not at her head. But I had to take the tape off last night so that I could get her changed into her pajamas, and it was all stuck in her hair. It was horrible. I'm tempted to ask the technician today that if there are any tapes that are stuck to maybe a strand or two of hair, to cut the hair instead of pulling on her head, because after last time I really don't want Avery getting upset like that. I am very, very anxious about taking her in to have all this taken off, more anxious than I was to take her in, just because I know they've got to pull all these tabs off. Avery's hair is much longer and she does not like her hair being pulled. Aside from that, she is tolerating it really, really well. It is quite difficult, I will say. The kind of leads are quite short, so without pulling on her head, that's about as far from her I can bring the machine away. So picking her up and moving her and stuff has been quite difficult. Just trying to be careful not to tug on the probes, not to pull the wires too far. Last night, oh my goodness, last night was an absolute nightmare. So Avery wasn't falling asleep after her feed, so we ended up taking her up to bed with us, and I ended up just kind of rocking her to sleep in bed, and then she threw up everywhere, all over the bed. I've had to put our entire quilt in the washing machine, which is not advised because apparently the full weight of that quilt is 33 kilograms and our washing machine is only supposed to take 8. So yeah, we definitely pushed the washing machine to its limits last night. It's now kind of hanging over the radiator. I'm trying to keep moving it every so often to try and get all of it dry by tonight so that we can have it back. But she threw up everywhere, bless her. It kind of makes sense considering she's got a cold. She does tend to vomit a little bit more when she's poorly, don't you, Pudding? But yeah, today it's pretty obvious that she has a horrible cold. With the EEG, like I said yesterday, they gave me kind of like a form to fill out and just to mark any sort of events. So I need to mark down when she goes to sleep, when she wakes up, and I've also been marking down when she's had kind of like coughing or urgent fits or when she vomited, just in case that changes anything on the EEG. I have not seen any suspicious activity. The nurse yesterday, or the technician yesterday, did say to mark down any kind of dystonic events. She did get quite a bit of dystonia, like neck dystonia, after she vomited last night, so I did write that down, but other than that it's quite difficult to write down when she's dystonic because she's always showing some kind of dystonic movement most of the time. So that form is all filled out so far, ready to go. I'll be taking her back to the hospital around the same time today, about 1:30, to have all of this removed, and we will probably get the results back in about 2 weeks time. I will show you what her hair looks like when we get home, the state of it, and I will show you a close-up of what this all looks like.
Hello, gorgeous girly. I see you. I know, you're not feeling very well, are you? So, she has the probes on the front of her head. These ones are just stuck on with tape. She has quite a lot on her actual head, and this, if I can get the camera to focus, is kind of what it all looks like. So you can see it does have quite a film of glue, and honestly the stuff smells and looks exactly like super glue, and these are sticking all of the probes on. But she does have quite a few in her hair there, and then she also has one there and one there on her shoulders. Those are just taped on with tape again, and then they're all here, the wires, and then this is the machine. We don't actually do anything with the machine. For some reason I thought there was a button we pressed, but apparently not. That just stays in its bag. They did put a ziplock on it as well, just so we can't open it, more so for smaller hands, so smaller hands don't get hold of it. Are you reaching, Pudding? Aside from being poorly, Avery is doing fairly well, aren't you, Pudding? Considering you've got all these probes on your head, you're doing so good. There is also a lot of kind of excess glue, kind of because the technicians, they're not careful. The glue kind of drips out as she's putting it on, and there's a lot of glue in places where there isn't probes. Like there's an awful lot matted into her hair here. I think my plan when we get home They do have some solution, and I remember the last time she had an overnight EEG, they gave me some of the solution to bring home. So I'm going to ask for that again, because that stuff does actually work fairly well. So I'm going to use the solution on the really caked up bits. But I think my plan is to maybe just douse all of her hair in oil, just so that when I'm kind of brushing the glue out, a comb kind of goes through the rest of her hair easier, and I can limit the amount I pull on her hair. Now, it's not going to be a short process. It wasn't last time. It will probably take me weeks to get all of the glue out of her hair. That's okay though, because we're going to give you a nice trim. I would imagine she is going to lose a bit of hair having all of these taken out. I mean, it's kind of like if you wear false eyelashes, you always end up pulling out 1 or 2 eyelashes when you take them off. It's kind of the same with her hair. She's going to lose some. I've kind of accepted that, which is why we decided to hold off on giving her a first trim until after this. But you're a clever girly, aren't you? You're such a good girly. Hey? Are you such a good girly? But the plan for me now is to get Avery fed, and then it will be pretty much time to sort of pack up and get ready to go to the hospital. After Avery's EEG yesterday in the pushchair, she was actually really happy. She didn't get upset, to be honest, by the putting on of the probes. As a matter of fact, she seemed quite interested, so I had to kind of have her on my lap but facing away from the technician. The technician was behind her, and Avery kept kind of craning her neck to look behind her to see what was going on, and it genuinely looked like that's what she was doing, and she kept kind of tracking the technician with her eyes on where she was going. I think she just wanted to see what was happening to her. But yeah, definitely a little bit more anxious about today's appointment than I was yesterday's, purely because I know it's gonna pull on her hair a little bit. Apparently it's a different technician today. The technician we saw yesterday was the same one that pulled her hair last time. It's a different one today, so let's hope she is just a little bit gentler. And just like that, we're back again. Avery looking a little bit worse for wear. So yeah, this is the end result of Avery's hair. There is still an awful lot of glue in it. It is very, very matted, very gluey and very oily at the moment because of the solution that the technician used to get all of the probes off. We had a different technician this time, and I made a point to let her know Avery doesn't like her hair being pulled, and she also doesn't like it when you pull tapes off of her. So she actually took it really slow. She was very gentle, and I mean, Avery whinged the entire way through, but it was kind of more of an annoyed whinge. She didn't really cry like she was in pain like she did last time. So I'm really happy with that. She does still have kind of some tape, just the medical tape on her shoulders, just because again, Avery doesn't like the tapes being pulled off, so she just said when she's in the bath those should come off much easier and not cause her any pain. Oh, Puddin', what are we gonna do with this? So I have the solution. I asked for some and she gave me a decent amount. To be fair, this is called Medical Adhesive Remover, non-irritating and non-flammable, low vapors. So that is what it looks like. I mean, it says low vapors, but I'm not gonna lie, guys, it stinks. Oh my goodness, are you okay? Are you okay? That was a powerful sneeze. Yeah, it stinks. But my plan is, once I pick the boys up from school, which will be in about 20 minutes or so after she's been fed, so that she's nice and happy and maybe had a little nap as well, I am going to put some more of that stuff onto the bits that still have the glue and the residue, and then I am going to lag her hair in oil and conditioner and see how much I can kind of comb out, and then I will probably wash her hair then and just see how much comes out with washing it. I mean, the amount of times I've been told that it'll come out just with normal shampoo, it doesn't. So I don't anticipate it all coming out today, but hopefully we can just get some of it out to the point where I can actually brush through her hair properly. And then just, I guess, over the next few weeks I'll keep using that solution and just try and break at the glue more and more. It will all come away eventually,
I don't think she lost too much hair today. We didn't have to cut any of it, which is really good. So yeah, just gonna get as much glue out of her hair as possible, get it back into a semi-normal state, and then we'll give you your first trim to neaten it all up. What do you think, Pudding? Hey? I will not be cutting much of her hair off. You guys know Avery's hair is my pride and joy. I will just be giving her a trim. She's got some kind of longer bits from where it grew in from when she was a baby, so we're just going to straighten it all up, neaten it up, and then maybe once those straggly ends are cut off, her curls might bounce a little bit more, because you have very beautiful curly hair, don't you? Hey? But I'm going to leave this video here. I hope it might have been helpful to any of you maybe going through a similar situation. I will update you guys with the results when I get them in another vlog. But like I said earlier, I just wanted to keep this video based solely around Avery's EEG, what it entails, what it looks like really, I think more than anything. What it looks like really coming from a mother's perspective, I suppose, because, you know, you can read what happens and the doctors can, you know, tell you what they do and whatnot, but I think sometimes it's helpful hearing experiences from a parent's perspective. It's just a little bit more relatable that way, and I think maybe easier to digest. So I do hope it was helpful. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and hit subscribe if you're keen to find out the results. I know I am. And with that said, I will see you guys in a few days with another video. Bye guys.